another great question. So if somebody sort of came into session, if someone comes into session and the moment that they land with you, they're lost, right? You can feel, right, that they're totally in something, flooded by something. The first thing I would let them do is be flooded, because otherwise if you try to do that to it too quickly, then there's an immediate friction between you and the client. Yeah, you're trying to manipulate their state, and actually what they need is just for it to be received. Yeah, so at first I would just, there needs to be a sense of being very relaxed, but not in a way that would convey apathy. Yeah, so if somebody comes into you very distressed, you're not going to sort of sit back, old style clinician, and kind of, yeah, it would be very patronizing, wouldn't it? Right? So you're going to remain very relaxed, but you're also going to be really clear that they have your attention. Yeah, it's like, oh, like, yeah, like meet them there. Meet them there doesn't mean go up with them. It doesn't mean that we get dysregulated too. Like, that's not to be confused. But we always meet someone where they are. So if they're really distressed and all over the place, meet them there. Like, oh, it energetically, it's like you open the embrace of the space to them and let them come into that safe place and be screaming or crying or shouting or whoa, whatever it is that they are. And our message is, I am not fazed by where you are, but I totally can see that you're in a really painful place, So first you just let them. And chances are, if you remain regulated and all the transmission of your energy, of your somatics, yeah, of your expression, of your body, of your tone, of your language, your non-verbal language, as well as your verbal language, if everything about you says, I'm not fazed by where you are, but I'm so upset that you're upset and I'm with you, right? Like, I got you, I'm here. Go, lose it. You'll probably find that, I don't know, it might take 10 minutes, might take 2, might take 45. But you'll probably find they'll come down on their own, because co-regulation will occur. Just like if a child is really distressed, who's 2 years old or 4 years old, and they're having a tantrum, if you sit with that for long enough and allow it, you let the energy express and move through and just hold space for it, they'll come down. It might take longer than you want it to, but it will happen, because the energy is given, what, as Peter Levine says, like, trauma is stuck energy that wasn't allowed to move freely. And so actually, if we provide a space where that energy can move safely and freely, and in the case of an adult, what's happening in that moment, I mean, you said like abandonment wounds, so to use that example, is they're experiencing the distress of what the inner 7-year-old, 14-year-old, 6-month-old, who knows. So they don't need you to do anything other than hold them in the way that no one held them. And I don't mean literally, but in rare circumstances you might, but you would have to have a very long established relationship with somebody. I mean, very long, years, for that to be safe. But you just hold them the way that no one ever did, and actually that therein is, that's trauma processing, actually, funnily enough, happening right there. Indirectly, you're now processing trauma with that person. If you're holding that space for a long time, and the sense is that you can feel like, what do we say in processing? Is it changing or is it staying the same, right? So you're feeling, is it changing or is it staying the same? You'll either notice that it starts to shift and change, even if it stays quite peaky, or you'll notice that it's like they're just spinning, right? Like a record with a scratch on it. They're just spinning, it's not changing, yeah? In which case, at some point, with ample time to go, let's say you've been sitting with them for half an hour, it's thicking, nothing's shifting, nothing's changing, it's staying the same. Then you're going to want to make sure that you've got ample time to intervene, to maneuver for them, with them, And that's, you know, it's going to differ depending on the client, but those moments may be the moments where you need to then get quite firm, really loving, but really firm, you know, like I'll use your name just because you're here with me, right? Like, but it's just like, right, I might be like, right, Kerry, like, I feel you. This is huge, right? You're whatever it is, whatever feels the most appropriate. Like you're really distressed, and I feel that. And you know, I have no problem sitting here with you and holding that for you and with you. You know, there's nothing else that I would want to do more than that. But I also can feel that it's not moving, that you're kind of stuck here, huh? It feels to me like you're stuck here. And I'd like to be able to help you come down a little to shift it. Can I do that? Can we do that together? You know? And you'll get a yes from someone. They can feel when they're stuck. We can, can't we? We can feel when we're stuck. And we can feel when the expression of that distress is actually becoming distressing in and of itself. And it's like we can't get out of it. And so then we offer help. That's a sort of symbolic, it's like symbolically putting out a hand. Yeah. It's like, you're stuck here. Can I help you? You know? And they'll almost always say yes, you know? And then you've got your toolkit. It's like, okay, and I think that firmness is the real key here. They have to feel from you just like a scared child would need to feel from a parent, right? What does a scared child need to feel? That the parent's in charge, not in control in a way that is dominating, right, with any negative energy, but we want to feel when we're little that someone knows what they're fucking doing. And actually that's usually what didn't happen, which is why that fear got stuck. So like a healthy parent, we need to be able to like, right, I'm taking command now, right? Like I've got you, now you're going to do what I say. Does that make sense? Like that's the energy of it. Okay, so here's what I need you to do. I need you to shift your position in your seat. I want you to feel your bum against your seat and put your feet against the ground. Can you do that for me? And they might still be crying or hyperventilating or whatever it is, you know, or shaking and that's why you really have to take charge. It's almost like the tone and manner of your body and your voice has to override, yeah, the distress in a way, become louder than the distress. And then you might take them through a tapping sequence. You might say, I need you to look at me, you know, I need you to look at me and I need you to start following my hands. And you take them through a tapping sequence. Or you get them to plant their butt on their seat, plant their feet on the ground. And you say, right, I need you to tell me what you can see in the room around you. Tell me things that you can see. And as they're doing this, they will be in their distress. So it might be like, you know, but the moment that you tell their brain to engage in that way, it's already on its way out. So whether they're still panicking or shaking or crying, whatever it is, that awareness has already been now turned outward in a healthy way, away from the inner flooding. Yeah, because they might not be able to get hold of anything, but they're looking. I don't know, like the chest of drawers, and it doesn't matter what you choose. Like it can be a chest of drawers. It's like, oh, okay, a chest of drawers. What color is it? Yeah. How many drawers does it have? Now they're counting. So you're getting all of that like logical left brain kind of back online, right? They're out of the feeling scape and they're into the kind of thinking rational. So there's lots of things you could do. You could even, I mean, I say this because I just want you guys to see how creative you can get. They would be my first pit stops. Take someone through a tapping sequence, externally orient them, right? So that external mindfulness, grounding them out would be my first two pit stops. If they have a resource, then I might use a resource. Yeah. Maybe I have a client who I know likes the smell of, I had a client who loved the smell of roses. The smell of roses was a big resource for her. So I might be like, I'll use another name, but like Hannah, like, okay, Hannah, I need you to listen to me. Can you smell roses right now? You can smell roses. I need you to stop and see if you can smell roses. Breathe in, please. Yeah. Can you smell them? Well, kind of, but you'll watch it hit their nervous system straight away. Yeah. So It will depend also on your client and how much you know about them, and what you know about them is what you can use. If you know they have a safe place, then you start speaking to it, like, Hannah, can you go to the lake? I want you to think about the lake, the breeze, the green grass. Can you hear the birds? Yeah. So there's safe place, tapping, other resources, but it might even be a case of like, right, here's what I want you to do. Have you got a window nearby or a door? Okay, go and open the window, please. Stick your head outside and take a deep breath of fresh air, and then come back to the screen. You can even do it on a Zoom. If you're not in the office, if you're in an office, you might take them outside. Yeah, right. Can we go outside? How would you feel about going outside? No, I don't want to do that. That feels scary. Okay, then we won't do that. If you know that it isn't a client who's going to be conscious about makeup or things like that, how would you feel if we went to the bathroom and just splashed some water on our arms and face? So there's a myriad of things. Those are more extreme examples, but the point is, like, we have a whole toolkit of stuff that we can use, and predominantly we would create space for somebody to feel. And then if it wasn't changing, if it was staying the same, we'd start bringing in the skill set, right? The toolkit, and just using, it's not that you would use all of them. You would need to use what instinctively made sense in the moment, kind of came to you. Trust that instinct of what comes to you. Don't overthink it. And also use what makes sense for this client based on your existing relationship with them and your knowledge of them. Does that help?